long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
Nice man.
Very nice.
Back in the 1970s, when I was a grade schooler, Star Wars first came out. Even the hippies that showed up in Hollywood, like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and the rest, didn't see a victimhood cult. We were coming out of the civil rights movement. We'd seen Martin Luther King get shot, JFK, RFK, and yet you didn't see people walk around patting themselves on the back, saying how oppressed they were and what victims they were. Part of the problem now with the sequel trilogy is that at least the middle film and the end film mostly, maybe the first film, I guess you could say TFA, did this, catered to the lowest common denominator of the audience. The manifestly insecure, obsessed with their fake oppression minority of, and it doesn't matter what color they are, where they slept or anything. And how did this happen? First off, it started in the 80s. There had been no industry to create victims. Okay? And it didn't start then until this creature showed up, Oprah Winfrey. $3 billion later, she has turned her own victimhood, because if you ever watched her old shows, she was a victim. She complained about everything that happened to her. And the thing about it, if you're truly a strong person, you don't make that stuff public or manifest. You're not a victim, okay? I got sick. I lost my voice. I can't sing anymore. I've been basically, my voice has basically been like this since 1987, okay? When I first got out of the hospital, and for a while, I felt sorry for myself. But you move on from that. Do I still kind of long for the days where I could actually go up to a microphone and blast, an Italian folk song or some aria from an opera? Sure. But I also know you can't live in the past. Okay, you can't. And what Oprah Winfrey managed to do was convince people growing up in the 80s, if they were black, white, or women, or gays, or any minority, Latino, that they were victims of oppression. Okay. And when you're talking about certain communities, it's the manifest boogeyman following everybody around in slavery. Okay. And a lot of people are sick of it in those communities and want to let it go because it keeps people back. Okay. I'm a victim. Give me money. Okay. No. All right. And these people got to schools. Then you got this intersectional feminist bullshit. That reporter wrote 1619, which is not a historical book. It is not a book with a lot of historical insight. It's just from what because I picked it up and looked at it. From what I saw, it reads like Mein Kampf. Okay. Adolf Hitler said he was a victim. He was a victim of the Weimar Republic's corruption. He was a victim of, criminal international Jewry and all the rest of this shit. That's what 1619 is. Okay. And the people that believe this shit, it's not legitimate history. Okay. It's not. The people that read it and believe it, like the minority leader in the House of Representatives, are using their mythology that they're victims to beat their political drums and attack, white people and people who have money, people who, even in their own communities, who don't cater to their brand of bullshit. And this stuff has manifested itself in Star Wars. It's manifested itself in the films. Vice Admiral Holdo didn't belong in Star Wars. She was there to represent the Rainbow Coalition community. Okay, the idiots. Rose Tico would have been a better character had they portrayed her better, had they given Kelly Marie Tran a better costume, and not given her that Maoist manifesto bullshit. Okay, they basically sideline the guy that should have been the hero of the film, John Boyega's character, and he's a black man. Because the victimized communities, the LGBTQ, intersexual feminists, etc., also look down their noses at black men. Okay, and then there, of course, you've got the victimhood of in BLM, which is completely convinced that all white people are racist and whatever, and that's not true. And it's hurt Star Wars. It's really, really hurt Star Wars a lot. Because what it did was, you've got Vice Admiral Holdo, you've got Kelly Marie Tran looking at the audience full of basically white men, telling them that they're bad and that their way of life is horrible, they are evil and should be destroyed. And people took offense at that. And then when the fans complained, Lucasfilm employees, you know who they are, threw, poo at them like chimps in cages, okay? And it was unbelievable. And what they did, like in the case of Gina Carano, is they victimized her. They bullied her. These people who pretend they're victims, wanted to force her into a struggle session because her not having pronouns in her Twitter biography, someone made them feel oppressed. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So let's talk on this further.
You have done that yourself.
Excuse me, Niles, but I've got news for you. Copernicus called, and you are not the center of the universe.
See, the problem is that these people who think they're victims of oppression, if they're anything, it's their own community's fault. Their communities victimize each other. Okay. We don't have anything to do with that, but they want to blame anybody else but themselves. The other side of the coin is when you have someone tell you, I just want to see somebody that reflects me up there on the screen. You know, you've got, you know, the Kelsey Grammer Fraser quote to Niles about narcissism. Okay, the cult of victimhood breeds narcissism. Now, I'm going to say this. Jussie Smollett is a narcissist. And a bad one at it. I mean, it's obvious. Oprah Winfrey is. You know, again, somebody who truly survived the things that she says she survived would never go out there unless it's something about preventing sexual assaults or something to talk about it. But she'd marched up and down that stage and talked about it constantly. All right? She used it for her own gain. And she created a mythology about herself. And she created an industry. We've got fake racist attacks on people all the time. I mean, this is unbelievable. And when there are truly racist attacks, like what's going on at Harvard against Jewish students, what's going on in New York City against the Jewish community there, everywhere, these are hate crimes. These people aren't going to stand there and say, oh, we're victims, feel sorry for us, give us money. No. But they still say these are happening to us because we're Jewish. Okay. When you look at things like, okay, the attack on that Christian church, that girl who is transsexual walked in with an AR-15 and killed a 6-year-old, I think some children and some teachers, and 2 police officers went in and took her out. She wasn't a victim. She imagined herself to be a victim. And I'm going to say this. Anybody in that community who looks at a church and thinks that they've been singled out because they're trans, when someone says this is a mortal sin, you can't live like this, they're not saying it because they hate you. They're saying this because they're afraid for your soul. Okay, that's what love is. Okay, they get it all wrong. Okay, so they scream, you know, Christians are a hate group. You know, the FBI starts investigating how many Bibles people buy and all the rest of this shit. And it's like, what the fuck, man? The people who are screaming we're victims are victimizing the people they're saying victimized them. And this is what's going on in Star Wars. Okay. You've, again, Vice Admiral Gender Studies. Rey. The girl that wrote the story yesterday in Inside the Magic. And we know, I talked about it. I did a live stream ranting about it. We know who leaked the story to Gizmodo, and she got the story from Gizmodo. She imagines herself to have been a victim, and she needs a film character to validate her life. Okay, what the fuck? You know, as much as I loved Princess Leia, she's my second favorite character in the original trilogy after Han Solo, I didn't need her to validate my life. I knew from a tiny child that the only person who could validate me was me. Every day when I woke up, you're brushing your teeth in the mirror, looking in the mirror. That's who you've got to make happy. All right, it's not going to be, you know, having some girl who never makes a mistake, some Mary Sue bullshit character, poorly written, who just shows up and starts, you know, humiliating the OG actors because she's a white English female avatar for the producer, and, you know, it's time for old white men to move over, which is exactly what that was about. I mean, J.J. Abrams, you know, and Larry Kasdan should have thought twice about what they did. Okay. It doesn't, the entire sequel trilogy is nothing more than validating these little victim groups. Okay. Star Wars used to be unifying. And it was. Everybody loved it. Okay. Black kids loved it. White kids loved it. Girls who were geeky like me liked it. You know, and you know, the girls who were not geeky thought we were weird and we didn't give a shit. And that was fine. Okay. You know, instead of pretending you're a victim and using your A, female status, be you black, white, red, yellow, purple with chartreuse spots, your sexual preference status, you don't have any pronouns in your bio, you're oppressing me, and demanding that you see a character in everything you fucking see so you feel better about yourself, that is feeding a narcissistic supply. And the internet's fed it. The Hollywood studios are full of people who are enjoying letting people get away with it because they think it makes them money, and they're now finding out it didn't. I mean, look at this. Morbidly obese women now have body positivity. Okay, we're supposed to think that's beautiful when it's not. Okay, I'm not as svelte as I used to be, but I don't look like a Sally cow in a bathing suit about to burst. Where am I going with this? Sports Illustrated fired everybody on their staff. Okay, why? 2022, they had a morbidly obese model in a swimming suit that was about to burst. 2023, they had a tranny. They had a guy in a bikini. Okay. People that buy those magazines do not want to see that shit. The people that read Sports Illustrated are men between the ages of 18 and 35. Okay. The reason why Sports Illustrated did that is that their editorial rooms were full of woke assholes who wanted to see the people they're, quote unquote, to borrow a quote from Leslie Headland, allied with, validated. This is, again, feeding the narcissistic supply of a bunch of Looney Tunes. Okay, and again, I really don't think Americans should have to put up with that shit. Okay, the Star Wars fans shouldn't have to put up with, validating the LGBTQ, toxic colored hair crowd because Laura Dern's wearing an inappropriate costume and, took some ugly purple dye and put it in her hair. Okay. Why would we do that? That's stupid. It's again, validating a group of people that don't need to be validated. Again, how do you get validation? You do a good job. You do what is integral to your conscience and your character, and you do it with integrity. Okay? And you can hold your head up and smile at yourself saying, I fucking kicked ass today. All right? But this victimhood industry that Oprah Winfrey started, that Barack Obama capitalized on, and he did, very divisive president. He guilted white people by a majority to vote for him because they felt bad about being white. I mean, I don't look at his skin color. I looked at what he said. And what he said pissed me off because he's selling anti-white racism, which is what Oprah did. Okay, Oprah sells misandry. All right, they've created an industry where the Jussie Smollets, the Kathy Griffins, the Dylan Mulvaney's, the Jeffrey Marshes are all professional victims. Okay, there's money in it. Okay, and what they're doing, again, is being divisive on purpose. Okay, when you look at the Star Wars community, if you hated the sequel trilogy, you thought Rey sucks, and she does. R-A-Y, just to piss them all off, by the way. You are a homophobe, sexist, bigot. Even if you're a woman. Even if you're a black woman. Even if you're an Asian woman. All right, even, if you name it, they will attack you like that. And it's like, look, you can't bully your way into this community and try to take it over, which is what they've tried to do. And they got plenty of help by the cry bullies and victims, professional victims that work at Lucasfilm. Again, think of Gina Carano's story about them trying to force her to do a struggle session with 40 members of the LGBTQXYZ, I don't give a flying fuck community that works at Lucasfilm, because she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, and it oppressed them. Period. You want to fix Star Wars, get rid of the people who are not victims, but, they're counterfeit victims. I mean, think about it. Even when you say, I don't give a flying fuck who you fuck. I don't care that your skin color's brown or black or yellow. This is shit. I don't care. Do better. Why do you need representation? So you can feel better, so you can look in the pool like Narcissus and admire yourself? And that's where we're at. And that's why, this Chloe James and the rest of these people are demanding this Rey movie be made. Even if, even Jason Ward said, I doubt we'll ever see it. All right? Because they need to be validated not by their own actions and not by the positive things they do all day. All right? They need to be validated by a film or a movie that mirrors everything about them, or the mythology of perfection that Rey is, that they actually think they are because they're women. Okay. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.